Tom Chilton, game director, World of Warcraft.
Well, Tom, so you have new world events happening in Legion where legions actually invade towns and areas. Talk a little about that mechanic.
Yeah, so one of the most interesting things about Legion is that the Legion is coming to Azeroth, and we wanted to make sure that we expressed that danger beyond just the new locations in the Broken Isles. And so it was very important to us to actually have Legion presence in the old world where, places like the Crossroads or Westfall are being attacked. So we have a number of different Legion zones that the Legion is going to be able to kind of show up in and attack. And it's in some ways similar to the Scourge invasions that we saw before Wrath of the Lich King. Players really expressed a lot of desire to see that sort of thing again. And so this really made sense as a time to do that. And now we just have the capability of doing that to the power of 10.
What are some of the challenges when you release a new expansion, you have a new level cap, and you have to release a bunch of new gear? With that comes a bunch of new numbers and percentiles and cooldowns, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's always a challenge game systems wise to try to make sure that the game is able to carry on coherently with, be it with larger numbers, with different numbers, new character classes in the mix, all that sort of stuff. I mean, now we have artifact weapons and what does that mean for your artifact's item level and the relics that you can put in it and the traits that you can have and how does that, tie together with everything else. So that's always, a challenge, but that's kind of why we're game developers, right? We like that challenge.
Now, a few years ago, you guys did updated models, you up-resed everything. What have you opened up? What has opened up for you visually for the new expansion, Legion?
Right, so our focus visually for this expansion in terms of updating things has been on melee combat. So as you mentioned in Warlords, we updated the character models to be, much higher fidelity than they were in the past. And now we're doing the same with our combat animations, the melee combat animations specifically, where we've really kind of gone back and taken a look at a lot of those animations and replaced a lot of them with animations that are just a lot snappier and have more impact and weight, and that carries into the impact effects that they have on the enemies and the weapon trails on your weapon and the sounds and all the kind of everything that makes it visceral. So we really tried to go to great lengths to make melee combat just feel a lot better and be a more visceral and therefore fun experience.
Now, you've been working on WoW for years, so I have to ask, what did you think of the Warcraft movie?
Right. So I really enjoyed the Warcraft movie. I had a lot of fun. I can see it only through the eyes of somebody who has a deep, deep love of Warcraft. And so it scratched an itch for me in terms of seeing a lot of these places that we've created over the years and really kind of seeing them in this incredibly high fidelity light, and really seeing some of these, characters and locations and some great geek out moments for any kind of Warcraft fan.
What are some of the challenges when releasing a new expansion for someone who hasn't played maybe since Cataclysm or even Lich King without it being too intimidating to kind of dip their feet into?
Right. Certainly, one of the things that we try to do is we try to give people a very gentle start anytime they come back to an expansion. We have the character boost that comes with the expansion for people to be able to kind of catch up to their friends quickly, and then we've taken that one step farther in this expansion where we actually do a tutorial for your spec. When you boost a character, we'll kind of teach you the fundamentals of playing that spec, the very basics of it, so that you can start questing effectively. It's certainly always been very intimidating to jump into a high-level character without any prior introduction and suddenly be expected to perform at an ordinary questing level. So that ramp up is something that's new to Legion and should really help a lot of players. That if you're really rusty, no problem, come back and you'll start with one button, we'll teach you how to use that, and then two buttons, we'll teach you how to use that one too, etc., etc., etc.
Can you talk about the new artifact weapon system where you can wield epic weapons like Doomhammer?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the artifact weapon system is really central to the Legion expansion. Kind of the thematic kit here is that the Legion is this doomsday threat to the universe, and to fight against this doomsday threat, you're going to need these weapons of ancient lore, these incredibly powerful artifact weapons. And one of the first things that you do as a character in Legion is you go on a quest to actually acquire that artifact. There's a different artifact weapon for every single spec in the game, not just every class, but also, separately for each spec within that class. And it really offers an opportunity for players to experience the lore of a lot of the weapons that they've probably heard about at some point in their travels through Warcraft. And then also, kind of make them their own and customize them in ways that they see fit.
So how do you go about making a new class in World of Warcraft? I know there's a lot that goes into it, since your last class release was, I believe, Monk in Pandaria.
Right. So making a new class in WoW is always a significant undertaking, and we usually try to think about it first in terms of the thematic fit within the expansion. We never want to try to force a class into the game when it just wouldn't really fit with that expansion. We thought about introducing the Demon Hunter back during Burning Crusade, but at the time we weren't really ready to add a new character class yet. We felt like we wanted to let the original character classes sit for a little bit longer before taking that on. We learned a lot from doing it with the Death Knights and of course with the monks. But now that we're doing Legion, it felt like, if we're ever going to do a Demon Hunter, this is the time to do it.
And last question is, what are your thoughts on the evolution of World of Warcraft since the game's over 10 years old now?
Right. So it's very hard to say, what the future holds for Warcraft. I think it has a very bright and exciting future where our team is as big as it's ever been, bigger than it's ever been, in fact. And we have an incredibly passionate team of really talented developers that are excited to continue working on the game for years to come. We have, the next several expansions already planned out, a lot of really awesome hits for that coming over the next few years. So stay tuned.